Hi,
Hi,
my name is Sheera,
I'm Aisyah.
and today we'll be presenting for our banking law. We will be focusing on structure of financial system in Malaysia. So Aisyah will start off with Bank Negara Malaysia.
Okay, so Bank Negara Malaysia. What's the function of it? So first we have they issue currency. So what they do is that they arrange for the printing of currency notes and minting of coins. They issue, reissue, and exchange notes and coins, and they arrange for the safe custody of unissued stock of currency. The second function of Bank Negara Malaysia is the keeper of international reserves and safeguarding of the value of ringgits. Malaysia. So BNM is basically the main keeper of the country's official, external, or international reserves. For example, the gold reserves position in IMF, SDR, and diversified portfolio for Forex. Yeah. So the third one?
So the third one is government banker and financial advisor. As a banker, fiscal agent and financial advisor to federal and state government and statutory authorization. As a fiscal agent and financial advisor, they manage national debt and the raising of government loan through well-managed loan programs. Whereas for the government's banker, they manage the government accounts. They provide temporary advances and finances of the government's investment in treasury bills and other government securities. And lastly, for the financial advisor, they just represent in government bodies or committees as nation's policymaker. Bank Negara Malaysia, they also act as the banks in Malaysia. They are a financial institution. The financial institution maintain various types of account with Bank Negara Malaysia. For example, SRR and clearing accounts to distribute currency when received order from commercial banks and charged to their clearing account. They also act as the lender of last resort by extending credit to ensure confidence in orderly operations of the banking system. And also they recommend MOF to issue license to commercial banks, merchant banks, and financial costs.
The fifth function of Bank Negara Malaysia is that they promote monetary stability and a sound financial structure. What they do is that they regulate the volume of money and generation of credit through a wide range of monetary instruments by ensuring price stability, which means that they ensure that the inflation rate is stable and remains low. And finally, to influence the credit situation to the advantage of the country. So BNM has to ensure that money supply in the country is flexible and sufficient to sustain the economic growth. By imposing, how they do that is that they impose statutory reserve requirements and interest rates regulation.
Okay, so in the interest of national economy, Bank Negara Malaysia is to promote the economic growth in Malaysia. It is also to promote the high level of employment and to maintain price stability and a reasonable balance in the international payment position. BNM also needs to ensure that the inflation rate remains low and stable. Apart from that, the purpose of Bank Negara Malaysia is to eradicate poverty, where they reduce absolute poverty irrespective of race through raising income levels and increasing employment opportunities for all Malaysians. For example, education, free textbook, free breakfast, free school uniform, scholarship, good students. They can study boarding school and go overseas.
And another function of BNM is that they restructure the society where to reduce the income imbalances among the major ethnic groups and between the urban and rural areas. That's one. Two is to restructure the employment pattern at all levels and categories of occupation to reflect the ethnic composition of the population. Third one is to restructure the pattern of ownership and control in the corporate sector so that Bumiputra will own at least 30% of the equity capital. And the fourth one is to create and develop a viable Bumiputra commercial and industrial community through its participation in modern commercial and industrial ventures.
So now we're done with Bank Negara Malaysia. We'll be talking about commercial banks. Commercial banks, they basically how they work is they raise funds by collecting deposits through savings, current, and fixed deposit account. Their main characteristics is that they provide current account facilities where payments or deposits can be made through issuing or receiving of checks. Not only that, they also accept deposits of savings for savings accounts, fixed deposit, and negotiable instruments. They also offer financing and other financial services, remittance, and letters of credit.
So the functions of commercial banks, one is to mobilize the savings, then two, to provide the facilities to make payments and receive money, to extending loans and advances for working capital, investment, and consumptions, to financing of government paper, and finally to provide various banking facilities and services as authorized by BNM, Bank Negara Malaysia.
So the sources of funds for commercial banks in Malaysia is one, I'll just talk about the domestic one first. They get money from capital and reserves. They also get money from deposit from public and private sectors. Negotiable certificates of deposits, also known as NCDs, amounts due to financial institutions, bankers' acceptance, BAs, and other liabilities. Whereas for foreign sources of funds, they just get it from amounts due to financial institutions and other liabilities.
Why do we need funds? Okay, so the uses of funds is for the domestic is for cash, and then they have statutory reserves, money at call, amounts due from financial institutions, investments, for like T-bills, government and private securities, loans, and fixed and other assets. Now for foreign funds, what's the use of it is the amounts due from financial institution, term loan, trade bills, investment, and other assets as well. Okay. Principles, or more particularly under the Muamalat section of the Sharia principles. Islamic banking may be defined as an organized institutional framework designed to spread the application of an interest-free banking concept by establishing banks and investment organizations carrying operation in accordance with Islamic economic doctrines.
The end!